Hey guys, Underground Geek here. This is actually my second take, so forgive me if there's any mistakes. I had to retake this a couple of times. So with all that's going on with Gail Simone on Twitter, I thought only fitting to review one of her comic books. And luckily, the local comic book store that I go to had one copy of one of her issues left. And I think it's funny because I think it's actually one of the last ones she done, so it's kind of fitting. But and I don't know if it's a good thing that they didn't have any more copies or a bad thing. But it's kind of an older comic, so I guess that's okay. We got Batgirl, the New 5232. Throw some numbers at you. We got a pretty neat cover here, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you the cover's got nothing to do with the comic on the inside, so don't let that get y'all excited. She's drawn pretty well here on the cover, except for those airplane pants. I can't stand those, and it just looks weird on her. It makes it look like her thighs fat. But anyway, she's drawn pretty good besides that. Alright, so to get this started, let me just go ahead and point out this guy right here, the elephant in the room, so to speak. Look at this dude. Look how he is drawn. He literally looks like one of the worm guys from Men in Black. What in the world? I mean, look, his back is broken. He's got a pot belly, but he's wearing spandex. And, I mean, it's just the weirdest thing that I've ever seen. But anyway, that's just me being picky. So we got this fight scene going on. We got an internal monologue from Babs happening here. She's talking about the situation, and she's literally beating the teeth out of these guys. Pretty good art, pretty good fight scenes here. Pretty good the dialogue as we're going along here. I like the art. I like the way they draw her. They draw her pretty good, if you know what I mean. But she only looks good in the mask, and I'm going to tell you why later on. That's sad to say, but it's the truth. So anyway, she beats these guys up, but one gets away. And as she's telling the cops, hey, do you mind cuffing them for me? They tell her, hey, since we got a new commissioner, which is not Commissioner Gordon, we don't follow your rules anymore. And I think that's rude. So anyway, more good art. I like the way they draw. I like this costume a lot better than a new costume. I think she should go back to this. Maybe add a little bit more purple to this, but I mean, I really like it. So she's got a little bit of a funny scene going on. She's looking for him, can't find him, still looking for the part, and then she stops and she's thinking about her situation with what's going on with her dad. And I don't know if you ever buy anything at Midtown Comics, but they have a lot of good stuff on there if you ever want to look and get anything on there. But anyway, some more good art. I like the way they drew her right here. She looks like a female. But then we kind of meet our main antagonist right here, and then we've also got her boyfriend slash girlfriend slash henchman right here. And look at her face. Look at the way her face is drawn. That's just weird. Okay, guys? That's weird. Anyway, they're talking about the way Batgirl has fumbled up the situation, and they're mad. And they're talking about what to do with her. And we've got more weird drawn faces on this part right here. And then, as a monologue keeps going, or the dialogue keeps going, they're talking and they're watching the news where it's talking about Commissioner Gordon's getting sued, and he may be put in prison, all that kind of stuff. And she doesn't like that because she's like a kingpin of this town, and she doesn't like for status quo to get messed up and you kick a guy while he's down. So she's telling her boyfriend slash girlfriend slash henchman to go after the dude that's trying to start all this and take him out if he won't comply. And look at this weird drawing. It is just the weirdest thing. It's like they're almost pretty, and then you mess up that part right there. But anyway, She-Hulk here is doing her diabolical smile, and she's going to go take out the dude that's causing all this trouble. And poor Batgirl is still looking for that perp. Can't find him. Starting to get discouraged. Letting out a little profanity. Apparently he wasn't in these 2x2 safes. So sad. So she changes out of her costume, and she's got this van. I guess that's where she keeps everything. And she locks it up with some kind of high-tech security that she's got. I'm sure she got it from Batman. But So she's headed home. She's thinking about what's all going on, so she's not really paying attention as she goes in the front door. And then she's surprised to find that somebody has drawn her eyes terrible again, and it shocks her so bad that she slams the door and runs out. No, I'm kidding. But actually, something was going on with the roommate. I guess they had somebody over, and she caught them doing the deed. But let's talk about this for a minute. This is the girl running out the door, was apparently hanging out with a roommate. She looks just like Barbara. Is that not awkward? Like if you saw somebody leaving from your roommate's room and they look just like you, would that not throw you off a little bit? That's kind of weird. But anyway, so then come find out she's a lesbian, because you have to have lesbians in everything that has to do with a female superhero ever. And I guess it's Selena Kyle, because it kind of looks like her, but it doesn't really tell. Like I was looking and I don't really see her name anywhere. But anyway, they're talking more about the ex-boyfriend, calling her, I guess the ex-boyfriend is actually suing her dad, which is kind of awkward. So we got a little bit cool art right here, but still the eyes, man, the eyes, fix the eyes. Anybody remember Fallen Skies? Man, I love that show. I wish they'd bring it back. Like if they just bring it back, just make an excuse to bring it back. Okay, the aliens are back. Okay, we're doing it all over again. Shout out to Adam West. So the ex-boyfriend's trying to call Barbara, and she's not answering, shockingly. So he's hanging out in the playground at night like a pedophile. And then all of a sudden, we see that the boyfriend slash girlfriend slash henchman is now dressed up like Luke Cage and Nightwing. And she's threatening him because she has apparently amputated his leg before, and now it's back on though, that if he doesn't drop this case, that she's going to kill him. And look at her. Look how she is built. She looks better than most men. Now, she still has boobs, which is, she would have to have a boob job if she was that lean, because she would lose all the fat in her body. But then you got the guy Chin here to throw it off for everybody. Looks more masculine than him. And so after that happens, we got Barbara waking up the next day, and she cannot even deal today. She cannot even. She hates early mornings. So she's going running. Somebody's following her. They're waiting until she's isolated, just in case you didn't know. And she's thinking about Nightfall, which is that woman, which is the main protagonist or antagonist. So she's not thinking about anybody following her. Well, then this girl sneaks up on her, the lady that works for the knockoff Shield, and she calls her Miss Gordon, which is weird apparently because they used to be roommates. And she thinks that she's dead. So now this is like all weird. Well, her name is now Obscura because reasons. And she slaps her, which starts this fight. Get to see a little bit of a cool fight scene here, a little slapping around. Somebody still hasn't learned how to draw eyes. And then she calls her Babs, and that just really takes her to the next level, makes her mad in her yoga pants. And she says, you don't get to call me that. And like headbutts her right in the nose and like breaks her nose, because it's bleeding pretty bad. So then the other guys show up and they get her with a trank dart there, and for some reason the eyes look like this, but they're like really close together and messed up. Have I mentioned the eyes? So anyway, they get her in the van, they're taking her away, and they're talking a little bit about how they used to be college roommates and how awkward it is for them to be catching her right now. And so after that happens, you get a little bit more of a backstory. And this is kind of weird because it says Gotham University a few years ago. Well, they're 15 right here because they went to university early, which is already unplausible because you're telling me both of them went to university early. They were both 15. Like you had two super prodigies in Gotham at the same time. But anyway, so they go to university together, and it says a few years later, but they're 15. So this is nowadays, and this is a few years ago. So how old is she now? Is she 20? Because if so, that's over 5 years ago. I mean, that's a long time. But they're supposed to be 15, and they've drawn to look 30 for some reason, because they can't draw younger people. This would have been a good time to draw her more like the Batgirl now and have her younger. But anyway, they're fighting, and they're getting along so well because they're women. And then, of course, they had to become lovers, and then she became my sister. And that's kind of weird because it's like, well, you slept with her and now she's your sister. That's just weird. Anyway, so they take her to this secluded hideout, which is where all the crooked cops used to take people that they wanted to interrogate. And so they're trying to scare her. They know that she knows about this place, and they're trying to recruit her. So kind of find out they're trying to recruit her. And I had to say they drawn this lady right here pretty good. I mean, she looks like a female. She looks, she's got muscles, but she looks pretty feminine. So they're trying to recruit Barbara, and she's just not having it. You know, she realizes what kind of life it's going to be, because this lady has went on the run and pretended that she was dead just so she could become one. And she doesn't really want to go down the same road as her, because, you know, this is back when she couldn't walk, and she just pretty much left her. So she doesn't really appreciate that, and she doesn't want to do the same thing to anybody else. And so she tells them no, and the lady's trying to tell her, hey, you know, this is not people that you tell no. And she says, well, I'm going to do it anyway. And then she pretty much leaves at that point. They get into an argument about it, but then they leave. And this kind of threw me off. I didn't really get this dialogue right here. But anyway, she somehow, I guess that frame makes sense. She knocks her hand away. They take her back. Then at that point, the ex-boyfriend has decided to stop the lawsuit because of his brother having his hand cut off and brought to him. So they stop that. Well, at that point, it really enrages Barbara, and she has had enough. So she goes full Batgirl, and she is on the hunt, and she's recruited now some help. And she went and got Black Canary, which I don't really like Black Canary's outfit right here. It's okay, but I mean, it's not the best. But they did draw Barbara pretty good though. But anyway, she's recruited Black Canary now, and she's telling her about Nightfall and how they need to stop her. And this dialogue goes on more and more, and they're trying to tell Black Canary's trying to tell her, look, you fought them once before, and she almost killed you. Now she knows that you're coming. So that's when a third party shows up and says, hey, can I help? And get this cool shot here of the Huntress kind of showing up to introduce herself. And I don't guess they've really met the Huntress yet in this universe, so this is kind of their first meeting. And so that's kind of where the comic ends right there. Next, you've got Enemies and Allies. But yeah, I thought this was a really good comic, and it had a really good story, except for it didn't. And it was kind of boring, but I can kind of see why Gail's not on this comic anymore. Not to be anything against her, but it was really kind of just a boring issue, so to speak. There wasn't a lot of action. It was more talking and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it may just be not my cup of tea, but it may have been all right comic for somebody else. Now the art was all right, but this person that does the art is going to have to learn how to draw eyes. So let's go down to the art here. Pencils, I guess, are Fernando Passarin. Yeah, you're going to have to learn how to draw some eyes, man. But other than that, it was a decent comic because of the coloring and the art and everything, but the story was just eh. You had one decent fight scene and the rest was just talking. So, I mean, for that, I give it an okay rating, but I mean, I can kind of see why the story wasn't doing very well and why she probably got let go. Because it was just eh. But alright, let me know what you think. Hit the like button, hit the thumbs up button, hit subscribe, and have a good day. Alright, bye guys.